Hey, it's Mike. Thanks for tuning back in. Today's Sunday. I don't have a long form or video or like a deep dive video today. I'll get one of those out again this week. But as I did my video on Friday about Dr. Jim Beckett, and then I got an item here I'm going to show you in a minute. I got started thinking about who would be the first ballot if there were a baseball card Hall of Fame. Not for cards, not for famous cards, because we know that's been debated ad nauseum. What individuals, what industry influencers would be in the first ballot if there were a baseball cards Hall of Fame? And so I'll show you this one, and this is what really made me start thinking about it. A subscriber and follower on Instagram messaged me. His name is Mike. Super nice guy, obviously. If he wants to send me a card he picked up at a card show free of charge. So this is Dick Perez, and my favorite cards are Donruss Diamond Kings from 1982 to 1996. Dick Perez created these cards. He did the art for all of them, and he is a big influence in the hobby. And so thank you to Mike. I really appreciate that you sent me this. This was autographed by Dick Perez, my first Dick Perez autograph. Goes beautifully in my Diamond Kings autograph collection. So this, along with Dr. Jim Beckett, got me thinking, what, and in case you missed that one, here's my first Beckett autographed by Dr. Jim Beckett. That was my last video from Friday. Go back and check that out for the story. Who would be in this Hall of Fame if there were a Hall of Fame for baseball card industry? And so I put this out there on YouTube on a post. I'm only looking for baseball card industry, and some people threw out some hockey names and football names, and I really appreciate that. But for this purpose, I'm only looking for baseball card names. And so obviously, I think Jim Beckett would be in there for his influence in price guides, and he created Beckett, or BGS, the company. Massive, oversized influence in the industry. Dick Perez, I think, should be in there for his art. He's the Donruss Diamond Kings sets are amazing, and that's just one piece of what he did in the hobby. And then I thought Mr. Mint would be a good one. Obviously, legendary dealer in the industry. Jefferson Burdick was another one who came to my mind, who categorized vintage baseball card sets for decades. Huge influence in the hobby, Jefferson Burdick. Then picker Jim S. mentioned Cy Berger, and I hadn't considered Cy Berger. Designed the 1952 Topps set, the iconic 1952 Topps set, and worked for Topps for 50 years. Modern creator, essentially, or influencer of the design of modern baseball cards. And then Brian Roth, also suggested Lionel Carter, a very, very influential collector. And if you read through any hobby history of anybody who was a big part of the hobby before it became big, before like the 1970s, they all had ties to Lionel Carter. So big, big, big influence. I agree with that one. Joe Mapes recommended federal judge Clarence Newcomer. And that made me think maybe Newcomer wasn't the best because he was just doing his job following the law. But Donald Peck, the Fleer president who filed that lawsuit and fought against Topps for years to finally open up the industry to Fleer and Donruss and other companies, ultimately Upper Deck, Score, you name it. So Donald Peck, I think, would be a big part of this first ballot. And then I was trying to figure out who started the first card show. Not the first national, but the first card show itself. Tough to find out for sure, but what I found was it might have been Jim Nowell. Nowell. Noel, I'm not really sure. But he was a big influence on the card industry back in the 1960s. So I would say he would be a good one. Vintage Sports Cards on YouTube also recommended Mark Murphy, the baseball card kid, who was basically did what BBCE does now with authenticating vintage packs and boxes and things like that before Steve Hart came along. So I thought Mark Murphy was a good addition, so thank you to Vintage Sports Cards. And then he also, I think it was Vintage Sports Cards, who also recommended David Hall, who founded PSA, Professional Sports Authenticator. Obviously they have an outsized influence in the industry today, but you may not love the ultra modern version of PSA. I think that they're a great company. They do a lot of good stuff. I know that they're semi-controversial because of the last few years, but you can't deny David Hall had a vision and he implemented it. There was a big problem with fraudulent cards, counterfeit cards, and he set out to make a company that could authenticate cards, and it's worked out stupendously. So I would say that he is another good candidate for that first ballot Hall of Fame. I'd be interested in your thoughts. Who belongs in the baseball card industry Hall of Fame? Who changed the industry? Who improved it? Who made significant enough contributions to the industry that they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Let me know in comments. There are a few of these guys in my research I think need to have a video, and I'm going to do a little history video on a couple of these guys. I don't feel qualified enough to do it on Dr. Jim Beckett. He has his own YouTube channel. You can go watch that. There's a lot of great YouTube video things on him where he talks about his life. Bench Clear Media has done some stuff, so I recommend watching some of that. What else am I doing this week? I'm sending off the Will Clark Topps rookie. This is his Topps traded 1986. I'm going to send this off. His card prices for TTM are really, really affordable. So I'm going to send that off this week, and I'm sending off 4 autographs to get authenticated and slabbed by PSA DNA. Sue Bird, Willie Mays, Stan Musial, and Nolan Ryan. So hope to have those back in a couple of months. That's all I've got. Let me know in comments who you think should be in the baseball card industry Hall of Fame. I don't think of any modern people, really. If you think about, like, I don't know, Pac-Man, Jeff Wilson, neither of them. Who else? Card Collector 2. I can't see either of them going into a baseball card Hall of Fame. But let me know in comments. I'd be really interested to hear. Thanks very much for watching.